So David, will you be our reader this morning?
I shall.
And speak nice and loud.
Okay. Okay. June 23rd, 1981. Maharaj. Just as you are not the clothes that you wear, similarly, you are not this body. This is the most important step. You will slowly realize you are just like space, because space is the beginning and the end of everything. Suppose you are sick. You want to know all about your sickness. The more serious the sickness, the more you would like to know about it. Similarly, this I amness is also like a sickness. Now you must begin to collect knowledge about that. Question: how do you begin? Maharaj. Start with the body. From the body, you get the knowledge of I am. In this process, you become more and more subtle. When you are in a position to witness the knowledge I am, you have reached the highest. In this way, you must try to understand, and the seeds of knowledge will sprout in you.
All right, let's stop there for a moment. So what he's identifying here is what we call the bija vasana, the seed attachment. The seed attachment for all is identification with the body. How do I let go of my identification with the body? By observing it, by beginning to see that the fact of my experience is that the body is an object of awareness. I see the body the way I see the cup, the way I see the table. I know the body. And again, what he's talking about, this I amness, the sense that I'm a person, the sense that I'm an individual. When you can see that that too, in the end, is an object of awareness. And that at the ground of being, there's nothing there. Yet it's not nothing. It shines. It shines. It is. All right, going on.
When you come to the end of material world knowledge, at that stage you transcend the observer and the observed. That means that you are in a true state of beingness. Thereafter, you enter the state of transcending beingness, where the identities of the observer and observed disappear. Suppose somebody abuses you and you find out who it is. Is it the body? It is not the body. Then what could it be? Finally, you come to the conclusion that it is spontaneously happening out of whatever that body is. You will not attribute it to any individual. When your individuality is dissolved, you will not see individuals anywhere. It is just a functioning in consciousness. If it clicks in you, it is very easy to understand. If it does not, it is most difficult. It is very profound and very simple if understood right. What I am saying is not the general run of common spiritual knowledge. When you reach a state where body is transcended, mind is transcended, and consciousness is also transcended, from then on, all is merely happening out of consciousness, which is the outcome of the body, and there is no authority or doership. When a sound is emanating out of a body, it is not that somebody is talking. It is just words emanating, just happening, not doing. If you understand the basis thoroughly, It will lead you very far, deep into spirituality. The absolute alone prevails. There is nothing but the absolute. The unmanifest manifested itself. That manifest state is Guru, and it is universal. Who is the one who recognizes this body mind? This I amness, which recognizes the body mind, is without name and form. It is already there. June 25th, 1981. Maharaj, I am inspired to talk, but I have no energy. But whatever I say will be so profound that very few people will understand. To start with, everything happens in the space of the cosmos, and it results in concrete actions of the worldly space. All this happens spontaneously. There is no author or doership there. At world level, various bodies are formed, and at body level, we encounter the attraction of the body. First of all, our own body, then attraction of the other bodies. Whatever happens in this concrete world, the instruments and the aids come from the space. The raw material comes from the space. The space is there prior to the light. When the light is collected together, it reflects as the sun. Since all this is difficult to understand, the best course suggestion is to do bhajan.
So for Westerners, bhajan means to, these are forms of singing in call and response, very traditional devotional practice. Focuses the mind and opens the heart. That's its intention. And what we learned at earlier points in the book, that I did not know this, that they do an hour of kirtan, that's the singing of bhajans, every day there at Maharaj's apartment. I did not know this. Going on.
Determination of good or bad is made only through words. Words or sounds are expressions of the space. Only at word level does one think something good or bad will happen. When one identifies with the space, it is the end of good and bad. First of all, you identify something as being good or bad for yourself. Then, in an effort to acquire good or to get rid of the bad, you have invented a god. Then you worship such a god and do bhajan, and you pray to that god for something good to happen to you. June 27th, 1981. Questioner, what is meditation? Maharaj, to be one with that, because of which we know we exist, is meditation. There are a number of names which have been given to gods. All of them represent the same thing. They represent this knowledge that one is, this beingness, consciousness. This knowledge does not refer to an individual, but to the sense of presence as a whole. Instead of accepting this knowledge as a total functioning, one wants to cut up the knowledge into bits and pieces, taking a part for himself based on some concept. Any knowledge based on a concept is not true knowledge. There is no such thing as an entity.
As a what?
Entity.
Okay.
Now you know that you are awake because you are here and you have that knowledge. There is nothing else other than this knowledge, no entity. When you are dwelling in this consciousness, you see that you are not doing anything. It is all happening spontaneously. There is no question of your trying to do anything. You cannot try to be yourself because you are yourself. Question. I am concerned about my family. I want them to have spiritual propensities and get awakened spiritually. I try to feed them this knowledge. Maharaj, if they are deserving, whatever has been fed will be received by them. June 28th, 1981. Maharaj, the sprouting of Aham Brahmasmi takes place at some subtle place, and when it grows continuously.
Okay, let me stop there. So Aham Brahmasmi is, in Sanskrit, it means I am Brahman. I am Brahman. So again, the deep inside of the jnani is not, I am an enlightened person. It's not, I am a great Mahatma. It's that all personal sense of self is illusory. It's not even there. What I am is that grounding being. Aham Brahmasmi. Next one, going on.
What is the meaning of this sprouting? It indicates that I am the Brahman. Then the inspiration, the intuition begins. The deeper meaning of Aham Brahmasmi means an intuitive, inspirational growth from inside, the firm conviction that I am the Brahman. Such a one in whom this growth of Aham Brahmasmi starts might undergo sufferings, but that one will not lose his understanding or the sprouting of Aham Brahmasmi. This is firmly rooted. Aham Brahmasmi means that I am the Brahman. But before saying I am the Brahman, you all are already one with Brahman. Then only will you be able to say I am the Brahman. It is just like the waking state. After awakening, you might say, I woke up. So the waking state precedes your saying, I woke up. There are two ways of receiving the knowledge. One way is you are taught the knowledge. You receive it externally. Another way is the knowledge grows from inside, intuitively. So far, have you understand yourself by yourself? You have not yet seen yourself, so how can you be convinced of what you are? Whatever you are identifying yourself with at the moment is only the body and the intellect in your body. Questioner. One has to use the intellect to understand. I have been reading a lot. Maybe it will take some time to try to develop a deeper emotional understanding. Maharaj, to understand what you are and ultimately to identify with the self that you are, you must meet someone who has identified himself with the self and also who has understood the self thoroughly. Have you come across that identity of yours? Question, no. I have seen it in other people. That impels one to try to find it in oneself. Maharaj, when you look at others, that other person is just food essence as yourself. What more understanding do you have? What is the quintessence of what you are, the inner core of you? When you people come here, you feel very satisfied and contented. Why? You feel like that because when you are here, you are under the shade of, or you abide in, your own consciousness. That means you are in a state which transcends body, mind, and intellect. Since you are in that state, you do not have any form, you do not have any doubts, therefore you are in that satisfied state. In that state, Whatever sentences you hear will be implanted deeply in you and will not be forgotten.
Mm.
There is no way for you to forget those sentences because they lead you to yourself. What you hear, you will not forget when you leave. Abide in the state of shade, in the self, in the consciousness that you are, even when you go out. Here, there is no room for the intellect to play about. Since you do not identify yourself with any form, mind has no avenue for any propagation. The mind subsides in the consciousness. This is space-like, a shade-like state.
Mm.
Questioner: if you are in that state of beingness, is it necessary to say one's mantra? Maharaj: suppose you are a woman and you have not been accepting yourself as a woman. So you are told you are a woman. This is the mantra: I am a woman. I am a woman. When you are convinced you are a woman, are you going to repeat, I am a woman, I am a woman? When you are that, there is no question of choice. Choice is at the level of body-mind, whether to say the mantra or not to say it. When consciousness begins to become aware of itself, one would logically think that it would merge in itself. But so often it slips back into identifying itself with the body. Why? Why should consciousness, which is inadequacy, which is sickness, be there at all? To a gnani, consciousness has not happened at all. If the consciousness tries to understand itself, it gets stabilized in due course in the absolute. And when the consciousness gets stabilized in the absolute, it knows it is like a ghost. It is not real. It is not palpable. You do not know your own existence after you are born. 9 months in the womb and for some time afterwards, that I am so-and-so is absent. When you start recognizing your mother, then you also come to be aware of your own existence. That I amness comes sometime later. Mother teaches you in ignorance that you are the body, and you begin to believe that. Your mind also starts slowly to develop. So right from the beginning, because of ignorance, the absolute does not know itself. And because of the body, it started knowing that it is. I am. Because of the ignorance, you had to ask somebody, who am I? Otherwise, you would not have asked anybody. Even so-called incarnations such as Rama were like this. They had to be taught. The incarnations are just like you. The bondage with the body came because of wrong teaching. And then the guru came and told you that you are not the body. And then you were liberated. That is why all these births are taking place. If you knew of the bondage, you would refuse the birth. But because the I amness is absent, you are trapped. Because the I amness is a quality of the body, later on you come to know you are and that you are trapped. But once you know, you are liberated. June 30th, 1981. Maharaj. All knowledge is like the son of a barren woman. Presently, there are only beingness and the functioning. The individuality and personality are thrown overboard. There is no personality, so there is no question of birth, life, or death. What remains is only the consciousness, without name or form. There is no individuality at all. The form needs a name, but when both are not there, then the consciousness remains only so long as the body is there. but without any individuality. The body is of as much use now as it was prior to the birth and after the death. How do you know me? You know me only on the acquisition of body, form, name, and form. Do you really see me as I am? I doubt it. Now the conclusion is that the unborn is enjoying the birth principle. The principle that is born took so much time to understand this, and it is the unborn only which prevails. It took so much time for the self to understand the self. We have tied around our necks so many concepts: death, this I am, etc. Similarly, concepts of good and evil are unnecessary. We have developed these concepts and are caught in them. How does one think about the self-knowledge? Do you abide in the self, or in the process do you think of something else as the self? You are wrapped up and lost in your concepts. For instance, you have a concept about friendship. How long do you keep friends? You keep them so long as they are useful to you. So long as a friend is of some benefit to you, that's how long you would like to keep that friendship. Now, how can I actually derive benefit out of a friend? I, as an individual, am not born there. So how can there be a question of benefit? Benefit to whom? How can there be a question of friendship at all? Anybody who comes here can sit. I will allow him to sit for some time, but later on I will say, you may leave. Why? Because I have no intention or purpose of having any friendship with that person. Ordinarily, there is some purpose for deriving certain benefits out of an association with another. When you meet someone in friendship, there may be some intention to serve one another. But I have no friends. Even this I amness will not remain as my friend. I am not able to talk any longer. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Previously, I used to welcome people, but now I am not in a position to welcome them. They come, they sit, and they go by themselves. I cannot even extend my hospitality. All my knowledge has gone into liquidation. I am unconcerned. The end.
It's the end of the text.
Yes.
That was short.
Amazing job of documenting what peels away until the very end.
Yes.
Amazing. Even in Rumi, I've never met something that was this concise and direct. Good choice, John.
Anybody else have thoughts or comments or questions?
I have one question for clarity.
Certainly.
So, awareness manifests in a body mind.
Start again with what?
Awareness is substrate of is being substrate. We're as close as we can get to it. And it is one unlimited function. And it descends into a body mind to have experience for itself of itself. So when there's no individuality, this is what's a little confusing to me. is an individual. It's like looking through a keyhole at one aspect of existence. That existential experience is individual. No, or is that an illusion as well?
Well, my take on it again is if you go to the dream state. Now, in the dream state, you do not descend into the dream. Yet, there's a dream body with a dream perceiver. You look out from the dream body as a locus of perception. There's dream ego identification, the I amness that he's talking about. Then there's people, places, things, and conditions in the dream. So, which is more you? Let's say you dream about your daughter. Is the daughter of your dream other than you? Is the dream body through which you peep out at the dream world just a particular trick of perception and imagination? And when something happens in the dream, is there any real cause and effect? It's all you, or none of it's you, however you wish to frame it. This is no different.
Thank you.
Any other thoughts? Well, I think maybe we can sit again. How about that? We have a lot of time left. So for the Zoomies, next week we will start a new text called Narada Bhakti Sutra. And it's a great scripture. It's non-dual, but on the path of devotion. And the texts are supposed to arrive next Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
So we should be fine. Those of you who are at a distance, I don't know if you can get it on Amazon.
You can. I've looked it up.
You can or cannot?
You can. Narada Bhakti with commentary, but you might have.
Great. So it is available on Amazon. Did you know whether or not there was a Kindle or e-version?
Let me check.
Nilang, are you still online?
No, he left. Steve is too.
Steve, are you local or are you at a distance? I can't remember.
I'm in Maine now.
That's right. That's right.
Yes, there is a Kindle version.
There is a Kindle version, so that way you can get it immediately without needing for it to be mailed. Great.
Can you send it to me?
Sure.
Give you my.
One second.
And I've ordered 6 of them. So for those of us who are in person, we'll have it tomorrow.
Okay, or should, just
415 640
640
3134.
3134.
Yes.
Okay, coming your way.
Yeah.
It's 11:22. So let's sit for another 20 minutes and then we'll finish early today.
Should I log off?
Okay, we'll log off. Hari Om.